Ndị be anyị ekeneni m unu n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị sị na ya dịrị ndị Igbo na mma. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Igbo Media ka anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasịta maka ana Igbo and Igbo community and ihe debe na Nigeria. Ya bụ ife ka anyị na-ewetara unu na Igbo Media. Dịka isi wee na-esole anyị, ọ bụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izizi gị ị na-abịa n'ilu akwụkwọ na Igbo Media, kabaru ka subscribe and turn on your notification ka ị lapụ miss any of our update dịka anyị na-etikwu ya n'ilu akwụkwọ kwa mgbe. Dịka o si dị, o nwere ya wetara n'ụbọchị nke taa gbasịta maka ka ya bụ ife si ada and gbasịta maka ka ya bụ ife si akpọtụ n'ala Igbo. Biko mma achọ ka ige ya bụ ife. Ihe a bụ Biafran Prime Minister MAZI Simon Ekpa. O nwere ife okwu n'ilu akwụkwọ mma achọ ka unu ga-esi ya bụ ife ọ na-adọrọpụrụ anyị ifu nche n'ilu akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile okwu. Alright, over to you, sir.
So if you die, you become a victim of the war. The war as of today is not conventional war. And I would like to remind you, I didn't say it. The Chief of Defense Staff, Musa, have on several occasions confirmed that they are at war with Biafra. In the first he mentioned that he is fighting guerrilla warfare. Secondly, he mentioned they were fighting jungle warfare. And then thirdly, he confirmed that they are now fighting asymmetric warfare. I did not say all these things. He said it. So what I'm trying to tell you now is that no matter how they try to cover this asymmetric warfare, which was the last thing he mentioned, that particular asymmetric warfare is happening in Biafra land. Do not fall a victim of stray bullet. When the Biafra Defense Forces, the Biafra Liberation Army, the Biafra resistance fighters will be engaging these terrorists, our plan is to push them out of Biafra land. It does not matter how many years it is going to take. Even one of the Afonja actually explained what I'm not going to call it, but they know exactly the kind of war that we have, we are facing within the Nigeria terrorist state. They will be the one to be mentioning it. They will be the one to be saying it. All we have to do is to make sure our women and children are defended. They have come with all manner of propaganda telling you, oh, you are bringing insecurity to Biafra land. He is the one causing problem. He is the one bringing the military and all that. All those lies, does not last long. And I have asked them, when they were killing people in nnamdi Kanu's house, I was not IPOB member. I was not even a Biafra agitator. I was not even part of the Biafra. I joined in 2019. Before I joined, thousands of Biafra has been killed. Thousands of Biafra has been adopted by the Nigeria terrorist state. Before I joined Biafra struggle, thousands of Biafra have died in detention. It was not Simon Ekpa. And what I'm trying to do today is to make sure that the atrocities committed against Biafra people before I even joined the Biafra struggle is revenged. Number one, we must revenge the killings of Biafrans in the 60s. Today, nobody has been tried in any court internationally as for war crime. For the crime of genocide, which is the highest crime that have committed after the Holocaust, nobody has been tried in Nigeria. We will take that law into our hand by defending our land today. In the 21st century, the mark of that, the wound of that killings of Biafra is very, very, very glaring on us today. And what we have to do is to teach lesson to those who have killed us and still bragging after 50 years. After 50 years, they have put a system that have disenfranchised every Biafran, that have marginalized us, that have put poverty as the only inheritance as a Biafran under Nigeria. They enacted a law that made sure that every resources that come from Biafra land is being controlled in Abuja by the Fulanis, while the natural resources like gold in the north is being controlled by them. How can you live in a country such as this, where there are two laws, where they have restructured the country, and in the north, they are practicing Sharia law, controlling their own natural resources, the gold, and the gold that they found in Zamfara belong to Zamfara state, while natural resources in Biafra land belong to the federal government. How do you reconcile that? My fellow Biafrans, this is not the first time they are giving loan or loaning money from outside the country and the Biafra land was excluded. During the time of DK Kuremano that is serving jail term in London today, they collected loan from China and not Southeast was excluded from that loan. Today, they have also excluded the Southeast and South part of Biafra in the student loan, which is even a very good development because before, during the time they shared the loan from China, they gave at least one small percent to the South then, because then it was not clear whether these people have been deceived or not. My fellow Biafrans, during the time of Obasanjo, when the sixth geopolitical zone was created, in order to divide the Biafra people, divide us into pieces, so that they will tell you that the 5 eastern states is the Biafra they are fighting for. My brothers and sisters, today we have defeated them by defining our map, and that map is undisputed. The only time this particular map of 40 states will be disputed is when we are at the United Nations. When the United Nations will come, if they like, and we are going to again challenge any alteration of this map to the highest level. So everyone today who is very proudly finding himself or herself in the map of 40 states of Biafra must understand that you are going to be protected at all costs. We are not going to cede not even 1/4 or not even one plot of that map to anywhere. You are going to be protected by the Biafra government. I will make sure that everything we do today is using through democracy, not by dictatorship. We have conducted self-referendum, which is still ongoing, and the people scattered all over these 40 states has spoken today, over 50 million of them. 50 good million. How many were you in the Nigeria general election? Because the people are tired and they are no longer interested in Nigeria. Only 25 million. Today we have doubled that number. And this has further shown that not only that these people disenfranchise us, there is no data. It was on purpose. They made sure that there is no data so that they will continue to tell lies about your population. Biafra, we are going to have one of the world-class database system, just like Finland. My brothers and sisters and my fellow citizens of Biafra, I promise you that I am bringing Finland to Biafra. And what does that mean? What it means is that I am bringing a system of government where your right will be protected. I am bringing a system of government where if you do not have money, the government will care for you. I am bringing a system of government where you can stay in your home and cast your vote. I am bringing a system of government where you are going to have a world-class and world-standard national insurance scheme where you can go to hospital and without dropping any deposit, the hospital will treat you. You are going to be examined with the world-class, state-of-the-art machines and facilities. That is the kind of system I'm bringing. I am bringing Finland to Nigeria, to Biafra, and after that, every other thing about security will be a bygone. I am bringing Finland to Biafra, where the political parties will have their elections and the people will make their choice without anybody carrying gun to kill each other. I am bringing a system where you can never forge our national identity card nor the Biafra passport. I am bringing a system of government where you are going to travel as a Biafran, and whenever you present your ID card or passport, the or immigration authority will already know that Biafra is built on the marble and on stone, that nobody can forge and present their identity card or the international passport. I am bringing Finland to Biafra. It is going to be a system where when you answer yes, your yes is yes. Not when you answer yes, somebody will go and start investigating it, whether it was supposed to be no. I am bringing a sense system, what is going to be the beginning of the civilization in Africa. That is exactly what I'm bringing to the Biafra people. And I know they understand this. I have promised them several times I am bringing Finland to Biafra. Today, everything the Biafra Republic government in exile has done is exactly the system of Finland. We have adopted the national ID card, which is going to have a very highly secured e-ID card that has the same feature with the European Union ID card. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that the security features of our national ID card as a government in exile and the de facto government who is yet to gain independence, the security feature is the same standard with the European Union? That's where we are starting. Very expensive, but it is worth doing. What this means is that the database system of Biafra is going to be as strong as the Schengen system. What it means is that the system I am bringing to Biafra is where we will go into agreement and negotiation with other world powers and other countries that if you must do business with us, you are going to respect our citizens, respect their international traveling document, where we are going to go into agreement to understand that we need each other and actually they need us more than we need them. So if as a Biafran, you are going to travel to many countries visa-free. I am promising Biafra people that by the special grace of God, I am bringing a system of government where you are going to be more valued than all these countries that are issuing visa or citizenship on investment, where you can travel over 120 something countries when you have their international passport. Biafra is going to be more and better than them. We have something they never had. But today, they are respected because of the system they have built, because they have a very secure system where the citizens of those countries are respected all over the world. My fellow Biafrans, believe me, you will have one day visa-free to America. You will be begged to travel to America, and you will have no reason to travel to America, except when you want to go on holidays. And many of you will not even go to holidays because you are going to have that thing they have in America in Biafra land. My fellow Biafrans, I want to inform you that today we have a very high-level meeting with developers that are already interested in building more than Dubai in Biafra land. I am just overwhelmed and too happy this evening that such is happening. That is the dream I have for the Biafra people. A lot of investors are already coming, knocking at our door. When are we coming? When are we coming? Is it after December? When should we start? The investment they are running, those investors that are running away from Nigeria, they are knocking at our door.
Tupu anyị agakwa n'elu, ụmụnna ife a bụ Igbo Media bịa isi na-wetara ya bụ ozi kabarụ ka imetụ aka na share button and like subscribe turn on notification ebe esi ebere metụ ya aka tụsa ya bụ ozi maka continue kweni na ya ji maka ya wee bịa.
We have a lot of things in the pipeline, and so Nigerian government needs to be more nervous in the coming months. Now, when it comes to the issue of Eritrea, there was a little bit more awareness than the Biafra issue. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. But here is the problem, and I'm going to be very frank. And again, I'm going to go into how we've been so successful in terms of the transitional government. The main issue that the U.S. government has had, or opponents of Isaias Afwerki have had in the U.S. government, is there was always the expectation that the Eritrean opposition, quote unquote, would at some point reach out to the U.S. government and work with them in order to remove Isaias Afwerki. And over time, the U.S. government became very surprised, and we've had private conversations. I've had many conversations. They just became surprised after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years in terms of why is the Eritrean opposition not meeting with us? Why are they not reaching out to us? Why are they not coming to us to work out a strategic plan on how to get rid of Isaias Afwerki? Why are they seemingly talking endlessly amongst themselves, talk, and more talk, and no action? So over time, people in the U.S. government became more and more disgruntled with the Eritrean opposition to the point where it seemed like, okay, these people are never going to get their act together. Now, that's why I think there's an openness within our government, frankly, to look at some other alternative in terms of saying, well, if the Eritrean opposition is incapable of organizing themselves, maybe we can play a role in helping organize them if they can't get their act together. And President Badarai emerged on the scene. He created the government in exile. It was a perfect match. I connected with President Badarai. We developed a close relationship, a close friendship. And we decided to put all of our force here in Washington behind President Badarai, to support him as now the transitional president of Eritrea, to have a rival government to the dictatorship led by Isaias Afwerki. And it's been an enormous success. Now, I understand that this has created a little bit of controversy. Of course, the Isaias Afwerki is freaking out. He's having his government put out press releases attacking us, attacking President Badarai. Because they're scared. They've never seen an opposition leader being so effective. Isaias Afwerki has just been used to opposition leaders defeating themselves. So he never had to worry. Now he sees someone who's effective and has the support of the U.S. government, and they're completely losing it. But you also have some people, some of our dear friends in the opposition who are frankly a little bit jealous of President Badarai, a little bit complaining as to why is he the leader? Why are we not the leaders? And why are we, not having an input in electing the government in exile? We should be involved in choosing the president in exile, and this and that. And my response to that, to those people would be: you have 30 years to get your act together. The U.S. government was waiting for you to come to them, to work with them, to get rid of Isaias Afwerki. You failed to do that. So if you have anyone to blame, you should blame yourselves for not having your act together. If the Eritrean opposition got its act together earlier, I don't think there will be a need for the government in exile, or there will be a need for the U.S. government to be invested in the government in exile. This is being done because the Eritrean opposition has failed the past 30 years. I'm just being very honest about it, and I think people in the opposition need to hear this tough medicine. Enough with the nice talk. They need to hear the truth that they failed, and that's why people in Washington, like myself, that's why people in the U.S. government are getting behind President Badarai. If they're upset about that, they need to get their act together, and we could look at what we could do with them once they get themselves together. So I just want to put that out there in a very open and honest way. With President Badarai, we've seen the success. It's public. We're not hiding anything. We saw the meeting with Congressman Sherman, which he tweeted about. We saw the meeting with Ambassador Tibor Nagy, former Assistant Secretary for African Affairs under Trump, and former U.S. Ambassador to Ethiopia. He tweeted about it, and this is just a little bit. We've had many other meetings, Congresswoman Betty McCollum, other members of Congress. We've had a lot of momentum, and this is just the beginning. You're going to see more and more support coming from the U.S. government. I think eventually what's going to happen, especially as the Horn of Africa becomes more unstable, is we already have many people in the government who view President Badarai as the legitimate president, not Isaias Afwerki. I think once the Horn of Africa moves towards a conflagration, and we see what's happening with Somalia, Somaliland, Ethiopia, the Horn of Africa is a powder keg waiting to explode. But I think, once we get to that point, we're going to push for a more formal recognition by the U.S. government of President Badarai's government. I think the best analogy would be, in this case, for a period of time under the Trump administration, the U.S. government recognized Juan Guaido as the legitimate leader of Venezuela over the Maduro government. So similarly, I think we're going to move in that direction, where at some point the U.S. government's going to more formally proclaim that President Badarai is the legitimate leader of Eritrea and not Isaias Afwerki. And again, if there are people in the Eritrean opposition who are upset about this, they should blame themselves, because the U.S. government has been chomping at the bit, eager to work with them, and they've never showed up to Washington, D.C. So again, I would say to members of the opposition, either get in line, get it behind President Badarai, because the train is leaving the station. So either support us or stay on the sidelines. What they should not do is try to be bitter about this and make complaints about, why they're not, leading this and why President Battarai is leading this. They should not be doing that. Either they should be supporting us, and a lot of groups are consolidating around President Battarai, or they should be on the sidelines, but they should not be complaining. So, that's the context where we put Biafra on the map. Enormous success. December 2nd is going to be the redeclaration of the Biafran state. We're going to get, all the support here in Washington for that. Nigeria is going to be toast, if not formally, but then at least de facto. And similarly with the Eritrean transitional government, we're moving towards a more formal recognition of President Battarai as the legitimate leader of Eritrea and over Isaias Afwerki. And then, when that happens, we'll decide, what to do from there. So, I just want to give you the overview, and I want to speak very frankly, because I think the time now is to have frank discussions, not to, play around the edges. And so I just want to put everything on the table for you, and I hope this was helpful.
Thank you. Thank you for all of that. My next question is going to be, I'm sorry, I have to go back to this screen. Okay. Are there any peaceful solutions on the horizon or political dialogue for independence, or do you believe it can only be solved by armed conflicts? If armed struggle is the solution, what sort of preparations are on the way? This, Mr.
I think he's asking Prime Minister Simon.
Yes, Prime Minister.
All right, thank you very much for that question. What we're doing now is that, of course, we are open for, peaceful dialogue and all that. As a matter of fact, we are the peaceful one. The Nigerian state is the violent one. And of course, we've actually learned from what happened to others, both in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa. Africa leaders are the most corrupt, selfish leader you can see anywhere in the world. So they don't actually believe in dialogue and peaceful discussion. So we've seen in Biafra land where peaceful agitators are getting killed, where people who just carry flags to demonstrate on the street are getting shot, straight bullet, killed, massacred in their cold blood. And this has happened from 1999, since the resurgence of the Biafra agitation under Mossab, under the IPOB, Nigeria, where people believe that we're fighting for freedom, only to go to the street, get killed, and they use their pictures and videos to share on the social media. Nigeria is killing us, Nigeria is killing us. I was sitting and watching those things as one Nigerianist that I was. So when I know that Nigeria, it can never ever get better. And I said, instead of wasting my time trying to wait for somebody to come and revive a faulty foundation that I know how rotten it is better that I use everything I have, both my intelligence, my profession, my experience, to support the liberation of Biafra. I joined the struggle. So when I joined the struggle, one of the things I did and promised myself and my God is that under my watch, Nigeria will no longer kill any Biafran and enjoy the killing. So what did we do differently? What we did differently is that in as much as we believe in peaceful agitation and then also, ready for dialogue, so this whole thing can be resolved amicably in a more democratic way, Nigeria are the one bringing violence against our people, killing them for asking for freedom. So we decided to raise our defense forces, and defense forces will be defending our land against the terrorists in uniform, while we will continue to push to the outside world, to the West, to America, in a more diplomatic, more refined, and more or a political way. So we believe in those approaches, and because of the way Nigeria is and the kind of mentality which is kill, 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 and we understand them very well. And the people that are ruling Nigeria are nomadic people. They are not Nigerians. They are not originally from Nigeria area. The president himself is not a Nigerian. I don't know whether you people are aware of that. He's not originally from Nigeria. The vice president is not originally from Nigeria. So these are people who do not believe in human dignity and the right to life. And of course, we always love human beings. We protect them. We protect women. We protect children. So what I did under my government was that I will provide that security that Nigeria never provided for my people. I will make sure that those who support the Biafra government, and whenever they get killed, Nigeria will pay their defense. So we started our self-defense by raising the Biafra Liberation Army, the Biafra Resistance Fighters, and the Biafra Navy. And today, they are engaging Nigeria terrorists whenever they want to kill, as usual. So this is why it looks as if there is a violent way to our freedom. We are not the one bringing violence, but Nigeria state do it. So whenever they see that they cannot overpower us anymore, they start running around and complaining that we are violent. How are we violent? Were we the one who went to the streets to butcher and kill people that are carrying flags? Nigeria is not only violent to Biafrans, they are even violent to those who believe in Nigeria. You see them killing people for protesting for bad governance. You see them killing those who protested for criminals in the NSAS protest, when they are protesting against the terrorist SAS officials. They get killed and they cover them. At the end of the day, over 1,000 persons were secretly buried in Lagos. So Nigeria state is a terrorist state. Using violent states on them is just to give them some kind of accolade. They are terrorist state, and so anybody supporting Nigeria is actually aiding terrorism. And that's why we are ready to defend ourselves. And so it looks as if there are people who are violent or violent agitators. There is no violent agitator. All we do is to defend ourselves to make sure that Nigeria will never have a field day killing Biafrans again. If you check the past, from 2016 to 2017 to 18, they killed and massacred Biafrans in the field of Biafra, and nobody has been held responsible to it. This is the reason it looks as if we are towing the pathway of violence. And of course, we respond when a government is bringing violence. You do not fold your arms. You will respond with violence. And of course, you need to even have a superior power to be able to withstand the kind of barbarism from the Nigeria state. And that's what Biafra have done very, very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, Mr. Simon. And this historical and joint interview, this historical and joint interview with the Eritrean government in exile is a milestone in our fight for freedom for the two movements, freedom for Biafra from Nigeria, and also for the government of Eritrea in exile, and government of Eritrea in exile, and of Eritrea inside the dictatorial regime in Eritrea. Can you tell us what do you have in common, both these sisterly governments in exile and the struggle for independence and the struggle for free Eritrean people from the tyrant administration in Asmara?
Thank you, Mr. KHA. And again, thank you, Prime Minister Simon. And I would like also to commend Mr. Elias being straightforward in this 21st century. Right. We don't have anything to hide. When you're fighting for freedom, there is nothing to hide.
Yes, everything on the table, Mr. President.
Pardon me?
Everything on the table.
Yes, it should be on the table. Only a tyrant will have something to hide, but we have to be upfront because we're fighting for freedom. So we shouldn't have anything to be worried about by telling it like it is. On that previous question you gave to the Prime Minister, Simon, if there is a peaceful solution political dialogue. But with this dictatorship and the tyrants, the oppressors, they don't have any vocabulary that says peace. In our case, it looked like it's too late. It became to the point of no.
Ndị be anyị daalụ nne nnukwu unu si wee na-esore anyị na Igbo Media. Dịka unu si na-esore anyị sị na Chukwu ka abịa mapụrụ mmiri na ya gozie niile n'ofu n'ofu. Otu anyị kwuru otu akọ ya dịrịrị ise ise ise. Kapakwa alụ ka itinye alụ nke gị na ihe niile na gbasara maka ihe Biafran Prime Minister kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ ana ndị ọzọ dị iche iche kabarụ ka itinye alụ nke gị ife ichere n'ụdị nke gị gbasara maka ya bụ ife. Dịka anyị nọkwa na-echekwa olileanya na Maazị Nnamdi Kanu ya pụta oge na-adịghị anya na n'ụlọ mkpọrọ, anyị sị na Chukwu ka abịa maka inye ya ike nọnyere ya chekwaba ya mana anyị kwuru otu akọ ya dịrịrị ise ise ise. Thank you and also stay tuned at Eastern News 24. Ka emesịa nụ ndị be anyị.